The MLB offseason continues as the Phillies have lost one of their top relievers. Yes, free agent right-handed reliever Jeff Hoffman will not be returning to Philly for the 2025 season. He is on his way to the Toronto Blue Jays. If you guys do want to check out any more, you go check out our friend channel, Phillies Digest. They've been breaking it down very nice over there. But Jeff Hoffman is now headed to Toronto. Before signing with the Blue Jays, Jeff Hoffman had reached a 3-year, $40 million deal with the Baltimore Orioles. But turns out the Orioles flagged Hoffman's physical. And now the right-hander lands in Toronto. We did get the official announcement from the social media and the team from Toronto, the Blue Jays. Official, we have signed all-star right-handed pitcher Jeff Hoffman to a 3-year deal, where actually, matter of fact, Hoffman was drafted years and years ago. He was drafted out of East Carolina University, originally drafted by Toronto, moved around a little bit, Cincinnati, the Rockies, and then obviously the last few years with the Phillies. But this is a big loss for the Phillies. I think we've talked on this channel a bunch how I really wanted Jeff Hoffman back. For one, I bottom line for me was really one reliever, but ideally that reliever for me, one of them was Jeff Hoffman. He's just been an absolute dog the last few years for the Phillies. A guy that struggled in Cincinnati, struggled in Colorado, never really got off the right foot in his career. After being drafted pretty high by Toronto, he was down in the minor league system, and he threw some pitches to Harper in live batting practice a few years back when Harper was rehabbing, and Harper said, "Get this guy to the pros." And really the rest is history from there. Jeff Hoffman has been an unbelievable pitcher. Unfortunately, he is already in a Blue Jays hat on our graphic, which is pretty sad to see. An unbelievable 2024 regular season for Hoffman. 68 games, 66.1 innings pitched, just 6 home runs allowed in 68 games, 89 strikeouts to just 48 hits allowed. He only allowed six and a half hits for every 9 innings and a 2.17 ERA with a 0.965 whip. He had 188 ERA plus. He just celebrated his 32nd birthday a few days ago, so happy late birthday to Jeff Hoffman. But unfortunately, the newest member of the Toronto Blue Jays. And I will say Hoffman did put out a very nice message to Phillies fans this morning on Instagram saying, "I've been trying to find the words for a while now, but I don't think I'll ever be able to express how much the last 2 years have meant to me and my family. You gave me new life. I loved every second of it, the cheers, the boos, and everything in between. I felt how much winning means to you and didn't ever want to let you down. I'm sorry we didn't accomplish our goal. Thank you for the entire Phillies organization from top to bottom for creating such a special environment to work in. And thank you, Philadelphia, for giving us something that is so hard to say goodbye to." And then he went on to say, "Thank you, Jays fans, for the warm welcome. I'm ready for this next chapter and pumped to make the 6 our home. There is one goal. It is to bring a World Series back to Toronto. Let's get to work." So now I once again still believe, and I've said this already multiple times, and this is before Hoffman signed, that I still really think the Phillies need one more bullpen arm. I think right now they're set up okay, but I think the one thing that scares me is that, unfortunately, you don't 100% know if you're going to get the Jordan Romano that you signed. I think the Phillies know that he's healthy, and I think it is a better chance than not that they will get the good version. But unfortunately, you just can't make that assumption for a guy that's been hurt now a few times. You obviously have Matt Strahm. I think we all know what you get from Strahm. Just a dominant lefty on the mound and an absolute psychopath out on the field, and was probably the best reliever for the Phillies last year. At least it was him and Hoffman as the top two. You never really know what you're going to get from Jose Alvarado. We've talked about this multiple times on the channel. It is a roller coaster whenever you get Alvarado out. There's nights where he looks like arguably the best reliever in the sport, and there's nights where he can't get an out. If you get the refurbished old version of Alvarado, I think having Strahm and Alvarado as your two main lefties is really good. And then you move on to a Ryan Kerkering, who, in my opinion, is only getting better with age. I think the stuff is there. He obviously added the new pitch last year. He's developing in front of our eyes. I think this really has the chance to be the season where he fortifies himself as honestly one of the better relievers in the sport. He has the stuff to do it. Now it's just a matter of really putting it all together in his third full season with the Phillies. You have Jose Ruiz, Tanner Banks, Joe Ross sort of as your last three guys. Ruiz, I expect to get some more run in a bit of some high leverage situations this year. I wouldn't say in a closer or any sort of ninth inning role, but he looked really good last year. It was kind of the shock of the bullpen year, I would say. Jose Ruiz really came out of nowhere and threw a ton of great innings for the Phillies last year. Banks is really just that mop-up guy, but I think the Phillies like him. I think with some more developing, I think he has a chance to throw some nice innings for the Phillies. He's, for me, really in the same boat as Ruiz. I think they trust Ruiz more than Banks. I don't think either of these guys will be getting any huge, meaningful innings, but every bullpen needs a guy that can get you some outs early in the game if you need it, and that's what Banks is. And then obviously the addition from Milwaukee of Joe Ross. He's sort of the unknown right now. Sort of a hybrid guy throughout his career. Seems like he's going to spend most of his time in the bullpen for the Phillies. He's succeeded immensely throughout his career when he's strictly a reliever. If the Phillies can tap back into that reliever, Joe Ross, I think they might have something here. But yeah, it's sad. It's sad to lose Hoffman. I wish he was back, but it proves that this market right now for relievers is pretty hefty. And while it's been moving slow, I think the deals are there, and it seems like the Phillies might have known something here. And I'm not saying this is some crazy surgery, or sort of shoulder injury. Excuse me, not surgery. But something's up. Something's up, and they did say it is with his right throwing shoulder. Whether that happened in the postseason or just from a bunch of innings last year or something in the offseason, and we don't know about it. But obviously the Phillies were playing it a bit cautious here, it seems like, with Hoffman, as the Orioles were as well. The Orioles once again flagged Jeff Hoffman's physical for a right shoulder injury, and now the right-hander lands in Toronto. Obviously, this is a 3-year, $30 million deal for Jeff Hoffman in Toronto. He's making around $10 million a year. I believe the first year of his contract, he's making around $7.5 million, and then the 2 years after that, it's a little bit over $12 million. So the first year, it isn't as much as the other 2 years, but if Hoffman is healthy, I think this is a really, really awesome deal for Toronto, and it's unfortunate because I feel like this was a deal for the Phillies that if they knew that he was completely healthy, that they definitely could have made. It seemed like Hoffman wanted to stay in Philadelphia. He talked multiple times about wanting to be here, but bottom line is if he's not 100% healthy, which that's what the physical is telling us, then it's hard for the Phillies to justify giving a reliever a multi-year contract, which has been pointed out by many people that the Phillies haven't done a ton of that. They don't give out multi-year deal to relievers. It's very 1 year, 2 year max deal heavy over the last 4 or 5 years. So if that is their strategy now, then so be it. And once again, I hope they get one more, because right now I still think this bullpen needs one more arm. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Would you like one more arm? Are you upset that we lost Jeff Hoffman? And what is your next ideal move for the Phillies? What do you want Dave Dombrowski to do? If you were Dave, what is your next move? With that being said, this has been a new episode of Phillies Digest. Thank you guys for watching. We are humming right now on the channel. We're growing. But I do want to say 80% of our viewers right now are not subscribed. If you're watching these videos and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button so you get updates whenever we post. Every single day. We have not missed a video yet in January. There's been one missed day over the last month and a half for myself and Sean Bernard. We are grinding here for you guys, and we hope that you're enjoying the content. So once again, this has been a new episode of Phillies Digest. My name is Luke Arcaini, and I will see you next time.